We're now moving into our unit on circles. One of the things we're going to talk about with circles is arc length and sector area. Arc length is just a piece of circumference. So remember, circumference is 2 pi r. And if you can't remember that, you can do twinkle, twinkle, little star, circumference equals 2 pi r. No, I didn't come up with that. But arc length, which we write with an S, don't ask why, is the part of the circle I'm talking about. So your arc measure divided by 360, that's the whole way around a circle, times 2 pi r, your circumference. So the x is your arc measure or central angle, and when we divide that by 360, it gives the part of the circle we're talking about. So in this one, if I want to find the length of EF, then my arc length is degree out of 360 times 2 pi r. So my degree is 120 over 360 times 2 pi 6. And you can simplify this. We're going to leave stuff in terms of pi. So we're going to leave the pi alone. So that would reduce to 120 over 360 would be 1/3 times 2 times 6 is 12 pi. So my final answer will be 4 pi. Once again, we're going to leave pi's. Don't replace it with the decimal. Okay. Example 2, the diameter is 24, but my circumference formula needs to have in it the radius. So I'm going to use 12 in my formula. Now we can also use circumference equals pi d, and if you know that formula, then good for you. You can use that. But I'm going to use just the same one again. So 60 degrees out of 360 times 2 pi times 12, not 24. And we'll simplify this so we get 1/6 times 24 pi, which would be 4 pi. Sometimes we get stuff and we have words in math, and we have to think about what we are given. So I'm going to write my formula because I see arc length here. So S equals x over 360 times 2 pi r. It says a circle has an arc whose measure is 80 degrees. So I know x is 80. And whose arc length, so arc length, this needs to go on the left side, 276.46 pi. I just realized I'm not writing tiny enough. All right. What is the diameter of the circle? Well, my formula doesn't have diameter. It has radius. So I need to do 2 times the radius when I solve. All right. So one thing I notice is that I have pi's on both sides of my equation, so I can go ahead and cancel. And then what we're going to do is just simplify all of this and type it in the calculator. So 276.46 equals 160 over 360r. You really don't need to simplify this a whole lot. You have a calculator. I'm just simplifying a little bit. And when I get that my radius is 622.035, which means my diameter would be 1,244.07. And this was all in inches, so I guess we should be putting inches. Find the measure of a central angle of an arc if its length is 43.98 pi and the radius is 18. All right, so we still start with our same formula. So arc length is 43.98 pi. We're going to be solving for x. 2 pi times 18. Once again, we have pi on both sides. which gives me 43.98 equals 36 over 360 x. And then when I divide, I'm going to get that my degree is 439.8 degrees. And we can have a conversation about arc length and the angle being greater than 360. That just means it's going around the circle more than once. All right. So the other thing we're going to talk about, that was part of circumference. So now we have sector area, which is going to be, and I'm just going to write sector area. I don't think we have an actual letter for it. Area is your degrees out of 360 times your area formula, pi r squared. I don't have a song for that one. I use the song to remember circumference and know that area is the other one. All right, until you get to calculus and you find out cool relationships, but we're in geometry. All right, so x in this problem is 120 out of 360 times pi, my r is 16 squared. So that's going to be reduced to 1/3 times pi times 16 squared, which I do not have memorized. $256. I should know that one. So this would be 256 over 3 pi. So example 2, a circle has a radius of 12 inches, so r is 12. Find the area of the sector whose central angle is 120. So my area, sector area, is 120 degrees out of 360 times pi and my radius squared. So 1/3 times 144 pi, which is going to give me 48 pi. All right. Example 3, the area of a circle is 225 pi inches squared. Okay, so remember in my formula, area is pi r squared. Find the area of the sector whose central angle of the measure is 45. So I'm going to do 45 degrees out of 360 degrees times my area, which they already gave me, 225 pi. So 45 out of 360 is 1/8 times 225 pi. So we could leave it as 225 over 8 pi. Or if we wanted to reduce that to a decimal, we could put it as 28.125 pi as well. Either of those is acceptable. Find the measure of the central angle of a sector if its sector area is 15.7 pi meters squared and the circle is radius of 6. So my sector area equals my degrees, which I don't know, out of 360 times pi r squared, and my r is 36. So once again, we have pi on both sides, so those can cancel. I'm going to clean that up a little bit. So 15.7 equals x over 360 times 36. 15.7 equals, this is going to reduce to being x over 10, so we'll multiply on both sides by 10 and get 157. Now, once again, you can do all of that stuff on the calculator. I'm just showing you how to do it without the calculator.